Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and beliefs, so help you God? Let the record show the witnesses answered in the affirmative. Thank you, and please be seated. When a stranger rips a child from a parent's arms without any plan to reunify them, it is called kidnapping. This administration is responsible for the harm suffered by thousands of children and their parents, and it must be held accountable after all the children are reunified. That is why we must have a full accounting of which officials were responsible for directing and planning the shameful policy of kidnapping. Not only was the family separation policy abhorrent, the administration was either incompetent or grossly negligent in its implementation, which only compounded the trauma inflicted on these innocent children. Each of your written statements will be entered into the record in its entirety. You may begin.
With no consequences to crossing the border illegally, the flow of family units across our southwest border is unprecedented. In the first 4 months of fiscal year 19, family unit apprehensions along the southwest border are 290% higher than the same period last year. For the first time in our history, family units and unaccompanied alien children make up 60% of southwest border apprehensions. We are also seeing a dangerous new trend. Families and unaccompanied children are crossing in large groups ranging from 100 to nearly 350 people, 68 groups so far this year. This situation is unsustainable both for our operations and for those in our care and custody. So we make that determination, of course, we do utilize our... We are committed to addressing this humanitarian need, but we know that when agents are occupied, narcotic smugglers, criminal aliens, gang members, and others use the opportunity to violate our borders and our laws. There is an ongoing debate about whether this constitutes a border security crisis or a humanitarian crisis. Let me be clear, it is both.
Thank you. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Deitch, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We have, throughout my career, always had cases where we have separated family members. That is something that has gone on throughout numerous administrations.
And when you did that, you had adequate information to reunify them quickly?
The information is within the system. It was not easily searchable.
So you separated thousands of kids under a system in which you could not readily reunify them if a court ordered or someone else ordered? We provide
the information within the alien registration number of the child to any family member. It was with the numbers that we deal with, not an easily searchable as
therefore not easily reunifiable. Is that correct?
Since then, we have updated the system to make it easier.
Since then, but at that point, you weren't prepared in effect.
I would not say we were not prepared. I would say it was not as easily searchable as
the DHS Inspector General and the GAO concluded that DHS was inadequately prepared to implement this policy in an organized and efficient manner.
I can speak to Border Patrol, and Border Patrol was prepared for a prosecution initiative.
Yeah, you were prepared for prosecution. Were you prepared for the consequences of separating the kids? In other words, to reunify them quickly?
As I stated before, the information was present. We have had lessons learned since then, and I think
so in other words, the answer is you were not prepared to reunify them quickly. The information was present but not easily accessible, correct?
Reunification is not something that Border Patrol handles. We handle the apprehension and the transfer.
Mr. Gates.
Thank you,